Hello, hello. I think I see 2 folks on now. Well, welcome. As a couple more join us, we have one prop that's optional for tonight. It's a bolster. So a really long kind of yoga pillow, but honestly, it doesn't have to be this fancy type of pillow. It can be any pillow. Tonight's practice is going to be a little bit slower, as is kind of the routine for these Sunday night practices, at least the way I enjoy them to be. And so we're going to do quite a few poses with this pillow or bolster. So give you a second to grab one of those if you have one nearby and set up your space. I have the ability to check everyone in from my phone. How exciting. But we do have one person showing up as some numbers. So maybe you could put in the chat, if you're comfortable, what your name is, 15132. Oh, thank you so much. All right. I believe it's Jackie, how you pronounce. And we have Katie and we have Kathy. Welcome, welcome.
All Hi, right. Emily.
Oh, I'm sorry. Say that one more time. I heard you.
Oh, I was just saying hi.
Oh, hi. Good to see you again. All right. Well, as always, feel free to keep yourself, screen off. I definitely do recommend, even if your screen is on, to keep yourself muted. Just helps with the audio for everybody. But again, you're welcome to turn off your camera, turn it on, whatever you would like. All right. So without further ado, we're going to get started. So we're beginning tonight in what I like to call just basic relaxation pose. So our mat is long in our space. I'll set myself up so I can face you all. And then our bolster is just gonna come into the middle of our mat, parallel with kind of the front and the edges, or the front and the back edges of the mat. So that's where our knees are gonna drape over, and then our torso just lays on the mat. Option if you want to take a sweater or something and put it underneath of your neck if it feels better to have support, but we're gonna be here for about 3 minutes just grounding into our space. So go ahead and get set up. In this pose, it's a really great opportunity to just release a little bit of blood from our feet. It's not really a full inversion, but just starting to invert with the feet a little bit higher than the hips here. Option to play with the angle of your knees. If you feel like your feet are touching the ground and you'd like them to be a little bit lifted, you can kind of pull your shins back over the bolster a little bit, they'll lift up a little bit higher. Our theme for tonight is dissolve and evolve. Dissolve and evolve. We're going to dissolve any tension that we brought with us here in this space. And we're going to evolve, see if we can begin the new week just a little bit more calm, grounded, mindful. We're going to be dissolving some head and neck tension as well as any tension we hold in the rest of our body. We turn our attention here to the breath. One hand comes on the heart, one hand comes on the low belly, still in our relaxed pose. I'm just sitting up so I can use my voice a little bit louder. Let's hear a little bit less of me and a little bit more of the sound of your breath through your ears, like the sound of the ocean. Your hands are here to remind you to expand into them. Don't be afraid of that belly sticking out or rising. That's natural, that's beautiful. Open mouth or closed mouth, exhale, whatever feels best. Continuing to deepen the exhale, making it longer than the inhale. This simple action will calm the heart rate. Begin to access the parasympathetic nervous system, just releasing any stress. Five more rounds of this breath, deepening every time. Permission to arrive here in this space, to feel safe, to feel free, to feel home. After your last exhale, very gently prop yourself up onto the elbows. As slow as possible, we're going to transition to a grounded spinal twist. So just shift your pillow so that it's long ways on your mat, parallel with either side, the long edges. Then from here, whichever side you'd like to start with first, just prop one hip up against the edge of the bolster. Twist your torso around so that you can lay straight facing the top edge of the bolster. So the twist here comes from the low back through the mid back. The upper back is pretty much straightforward, so you can relax your head and neck here. Relax as much as possible. Often we've been standing for a long time throughout our day. We come to this practice with a lot of tension in our spine, whether we realize it or not. Right here, we're just aiming to get rid of it, to let it go. We find that through time. So we'll be here for a minute or two. Continuing to deepen the breath and add an active element of mindfulness to this breath. With every exhale, let go of something, visualize something that you want to leave behind from this week. With every inhale, maybe assign a word that you would like next week to bring, whether it's peace, love, whatever your heart calls this evening. And with the exhale, let something go that doesn't serve you. We have 3 more breaths here. Now very slowly start to walk yourself back up. Legs are going to come out long, still staying in this perpendicular position. We're just going to take a nice seated forward fold. Doesn't have to find the deepest point you've ever found. We're just releasing that spine back to center before we find the other side. One more breath here. And exhale, let it go. Now gently shift yourself around. I'm going to leave my bolster where it is and just shift myself because that's easier sometimes. And you know where we're going. So opposite hip comes right up against the bolster. We're tipping our torso down and twisting so that our upper back is facing forward. Our hips are facing to the side. Relax into this position. We know where we've been because we've been on the other side recently, but open invitation for this side to be completely different. It doesn't have to feel the same. Just notice. If that twist isn't feeling as good on this side, you can always come back so that your spine is more in a line. You can take out this big curve. You can just lay sideways, kind of like you are hugging a pillow. Because you are hugging a pillow. If your hip flexors are holding any tension, you can go ahead and extend those legs if that feels better. They don't have to be scrunched up really close to the chest. Expanding the side and the back body as we breathe. Letting the ribs expand, feeling that separation. Just a few more breaths here. One more deepening inhale. Even longer exhale, let it go. Very gently start to walk yourself back up. Again, we have that same seated forward fold, other side. Arms come high to the sky. With your inhale, grow just an inch. With your exhale, hinge from the hips. Release that spine. Very slowly walk yourself back up. You can move the bolster to the side for a minute. We're coming into some seated neck stretches. Dissolve and evolve, right? We love these stretches. We do them oftentimes at the beginning of a class. Tonight we're doing them after we've relaxed the spine a little bit more, so maybe you access a new point in your practice. Maybe not. Maybe today brought a lot of tension. So we're just going with where we are. Arms come out and a diagonal, fingertips touch the ground. With your inhale, again, your spine rises just an inch. Exhale, right ear to right shoulder. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, left ear to left shoulder. Now continue with this flow as slow as you would like. Counts don't have to be in your practice. If you'd like to make sure that both sides is equal, you can add some counts. I go by the breath. Do what serves you best. Two more rounds each side. Then we hold over on the left side. Hold here. Left ear aiming to touch the left shoulder, but don't let the left shoulder come up to try to reach it. Just let it go. Left ear reaching down towards left shoulder. Now, tuck the chin. Pretend that left, or that right side of the chin rather, is aiming for the right shoulder. So instead of going straight to 180 degrees, now we're coming in about 30 degrees from there. Again, you can play with back and forth here. About 120 degrees or whatever you'd like to call it is a happy place I like to live in for just a little bit longer. Helps release into the upper back. Maybe tension from posture throughout the day. Come to stillness, left ear to left shoulder. And then rise back up. We give a little shake side to side. And we find other side. Right ear goes to right shoulder. Hold there. Feel that gentle release through the left side this time. And then gentle shift about 30 degrees inward and back. However fast you'd like to go, or however slow, I should say. Beautiful, just a couple more. Hold over to the right side. Grow for inhale. Exhale, find one more inch. And then inhale, rise up, back through center. And give yourself some gentle neck rolls. Beautiful job. Hopefully you find a little bit more movement, mobility through the neck here. If you find any place, just hold there, breathe into it. 1 or 2 minutes of stretching won't counteract hours of posture throughout the day, so take a little more time if you need. If you're ready to move on, legs come out into a butterfly position. Maybe shift your hips back depending on how sharp you want that angle to be. And then arms come up overhead. We're going down for a butterfly position. Not necessarily for the hips here, more for the upper back, for that rounding. So we know butterfly pose very well. Oftentimes what we're trying to do is get our feet as close to the hips as possible. But right here, let that go. Just aim for the upper back rather than for the hips. So legs can be as shallow of an angle as you'd like. Make sure to allow a big curve through the upper spine. And the difference between just stretching and the active yoga is the breath, that mindfulness element. And so often it's easy to get distracted when we calm down, when we do less. But right here, make the breath be everything you're focusing on. If other thoughts creep in, let them be surrounding the breath. How proud you are to have this life force inside. How proud you are, how good you feel for taking this time for yourself. And let anything else that isn't along those lines just go. One more breath cycle. And then slowly start to walk yourself back up. Now, keeping your legs in this butterfly position, we're going to add the bolster here. So again, this might be something we play with the angle. For me, my bolster is actually pretty tall. So we're going into a head to bolster pose. So instead of the butterfly pose where we may have just been pulling down, we're going to just allow the bolster to be at our edge and then relax from there. So there are a few options. If you're feeling a little bit stiff tonight, you can send your bolster up like this, kind of tall ways. Lean it back towards you. And in this position, I might actually put my legs behind it so that I keep it from kind of sliding. I would relax my head and just allow the tension to go. Now you can play with that angle, whatever works best for you, maybe something like this. Or if those are all too tall, you can just gently lay the bolster on top of your feet and then rest your head on there. Now here, our goal is to find the difference between that pulling down and that relaxation into the pose. So we've gotten rid of the expectation that we need to get to our lowest point because we can't. The bolster's in the way. So let that ego go. Just release into this bolster and see where you can find, see what you can find. We'll be here for a couple more minutes. So if that means you need to change your position, if your hips are the only thing that's talking to you and not your neck releasing, go ahead and shift the bolster around. You find what works for you. But know that the hips will open up as well. That's kind of a subsequent reaction from this stretch. Keep breathing into the back body, maybe envisioning your breath traveling even deeper with every inhale, seeing if you can access the bottom of your lungs. If there's any time to access that, it would be right now where all of our attention is on the breath. So go for it, see what you can find. Warming the soul with the breath. Clearing the heart with the exhale. Allowing those memories or thoughts that don't serve you to just release. Pulling your shoulders away from the ears, not wearing them as earrings, as some say, but rolling them down the back. 5 more rounds of breath here. Make them your deepest yet. Dissolve, evolve. Actively dissolving that tension with our intentional choices in our breath. After your last exhale, very gently come out of your position, pressing yourself back up, maybe removing that bolster if it's on top of your legs. Go ahead and send your legs long out in front. Give them a little shake. We have one more seated posture before we begin to move. This option is a seated forward fold. So you can either place the bolster on top of your legs, or you can simulate as if you were sitting in a chair. I'm going to take this option. You send the bolster, again, long ways onto your mat, and you sit on top of it as if you were sitting on a really small chair. If you have a chair nearby, you can always do a chair forward fold. But we just elevate our hips a tad and maybe allow the knees to bend if that feels good. Sending ourselves down. This elevation of the hips will really allow you to access that low back, something that's often hard to stretch. If that's a little bit too much, just go ahead and bend your knees, fold onto them. Key with these slow and long stretches is what you don't feel right away is deceiving. If you feel nothing, just hold a little bit longer than you feel comfortable to, and maybe you find something that you didn't know was there. And then again, always permission to adjust if you're still not finding it. Scooting your legs out a little longer. If you're in your supported forward fold, your bolster is on top of your legs. Maybe even with a block if you need that. I have a block nearby, but I didn't tell you you needed it, so you don't. Send that bolster on top of your legs and just fold onto that. deepening that breath. Every inhale, continue to expand through the back body. With the exhale, maybe you find just another inch where you can release into this bolster. Feel that stretch travel to the tops, maybe the mid part of your glutes. That's great work. Hold and keep it right there. As we begin to add on to this movement, add some movement through the body, remember what it feels like to feel tension and to feel the release. Our goal here is to kind of mimic going from a sleep state to a wakeful state, but with consciousness and intention versus rushing through our day, which we often do, especially in the morning. So envisioning this point being full release, hopefully when you sleep. As we build from here, know what it feels like to have no tension. Now slowly, slowly, without preloading any muscle groups, at the best of your ability, come to a seated position. Roll that bolster to the side or come off of the bolster if you're on it. We're going to rock our hips so that our feet are right underneath of them. We're starting in a low crouch. Release the head and neck, hang heavy here. Releasing through the back of the legs. Again, mimicking like we are waking up from this state and practicing what it's like to wake up with mindfulness rather than tension. Breathing into that back body. After your next exhale, drop the heels to the earth. Roll through the knees until you find a generous forward fold. Head and neck still, they hang heavy. Maybe clasping elbows and rocking side to side if that feels good. Check in, has your low back loaded any tension? If so, see if you can release that. Now very slowly with intention, pushing the heels, the toes into the earth. We're very slowly rolling up one vertebrae at a time. The legs are your stability. Not holding any weight in the spine, only the weight of the shoulders. Once you reach the top, shoulder blades roll down your back, close down the eyes. Hands come to mountain pose right on either side. Hold here and breathe. What does it feel like to have this weightless spine? Is it effort or is it ease? Or somewhere in the beautiful. Flutter open your eyes. We're beginning our sun salutation breaths. We're not going through the full sun salutation. Think of these as kind of a moon salutation, if you will. But we inhale, arms rise high overhead. Exhale, pull them down through heart center. That's it. We just build from there, adding a little bit of a back bend when you reach the top, and then pull down through heart center. Spine finds neutral position. Continue on from here, adding whatever movement feels intuitive to the spine. We often feel like we have to be so rigid in our mountain pose, but tonight you have permission to have a fluid spine. Always checking in with that tension. Has the tailbone tucked backwards? Has your low back kind of cinched down? Or can you tuck the tailbone under just a tad, finding space in that low back? Five more rounds wherever you are. Option to keep your eyes open or close them down. Maybe add a tuck of the chin as the arms pull down through heart center. Exhaling with that motion. Inhaling to sweep them back up. After your last one, step the feet until they're just hip width apart. We continue the same motion, adding a big forward fold. Now we've used the top half of the spine. We're using the full spine. Can you get even deeper? Can the breath take you there? Wherever you are, 3 more rounds, and then we hold in stillness. Arms reaching overhead, feeling the length in the spine, the longest you felt, the tallest you felt all day. Exhale, roll the shoulders down your back, arms stay lifted. One more inhale. Exhale. Bring hands down through heart center. We're headed down onto our mat, but keep that lifted spine that you have. We meet in an all fours position. We're beginning with a few cat-cows. Tonight, my challenge for you is in your cow pose, as we often find a little bit of compression through the spine. See if you can find that, but with length through the crown of your head instead of squishing. Doesn't feel good for that extended spine that we've just worked so hard on. So you pull, you scoop the low belly in, find that separation of the vertebrae of the back muscles, and then pull your heart down, tailbone tips up, but actively lengthening through the crown of the head. Yes. Exhale, scoop and round. Inhale, gaze shifts up, spine stays long. So this really just matters in not getting, squishing your neck, I should say. So in your inhale, allow the neck to still have space in the back. Don't let the back of your head touch the upper back. That'll help keep that spine nice and long. Continue at your own pace. Everything initiating from the breath. Check in with that spine. How does it feel? Is it fatiguing purely because it's being noticed? Or is it finding a little bit of tingling sensation? Anything other than pain is something to explore. Pain, we back off. Last set right here. After you're finished, come to stillness in the center. Just rock the hips side to side. We're adding on some spinal extension from here. Same goal that I said before. We're seeing if we can add on layers, but without adding tension. So if that means you need to back off, that is always welcome. Treat this like an intuitive waking up experience or a mindful. So on our next inhale, the right leg sends back. Should be parallel with the floor as if we had our knee here. So don't let that hip rise. This is a closed hip posture right here. So spiraling that right hip down. We hold here. If you are able to continue on without tension, left finger pads, rise, and see if you can extend that left hand long. Now our spine definitely feels a little bit more weight here, but as long as you can exist in this posture with that core tucked in, you'll be able to protect that low back. Height of the leg doesn't matter so much. Length and extension does. We hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop the hand, drop the knee. Rock side to side. Maybe wiggle the neck, right and left. Now inhale, extend that same leg back. We're gonna come onto the left knee, this time coming into an open hip position. Extend the right arm up in this supported side plank. Option from here is to stay balancing or to lift that right leg up. Again, as we layer on, we add more weight to these postures. Can you find ease? Eliminating tension. Option to bring the right hand behind the back, hugging into that left hip crease, maybe spiraling the torso up to that half bind. We hold here for 3, for 2, and 1. Reverse out how you came into it. Find yourself in all fours. Release through the hips. Coming up to that other side, I'm just going to shift around here. We inhale, left leg rises this time, sending it back. Again, on a different side, it might feel different, but actively spiral that left hip down instead of lifting up. It becomes easier, I know, but spiral the left hip down. Left hand assumes a lot of weight right here, about 90%, so that the right hand can come to finger pads and maybe rise. Check in with your body. Both sides might not be the same, and that's totally okay. We hold here. Breathe into this posture. Reset if you find tension. Holding here for 5, for 3, 2, and 1. Let it go. Gently coming over onto the right hip. We come to that open hip posture. Right hand on the ground, left hand rises high to the sky. Right knee is supported. Maybe left toes rise. Take whatever variation feels best on this side. Maybe your left hand sweeps back behind, hugging the right hip crease. spiraling the left shoulder up. Again, any tension, reset, release. Holding here for 3, 2, 1. Gently reverse, come out of it how you came in, and rock your hips side to side. We're coming down into a child's pose. Knees come wide, edges of the mat, hands come in front. Press yourself back. Hips on the heels, forehead rests on the earth. Release through the upper back here. Maybe pressing through the fingertips to pull the shoulder blades away from the ears. One more breath. One more exhale. Gently walk yourself back up. Knees come right below the hips. We're having a shoulder opener flow. So we inhale, right arm goes high to the sky. Exhale, send it down, thread the needle. Rest on the right ear. Now there's options here. If you're not feeling enough of a stretch, you can kickstand your left toes, sending them up so that you can lean further into the right side. Continuing to deepen the breath. One more inhale. Deepening exhale. Drop your back leg if it's lifted. Inhale, you rise, counter twist. And exhale, set it down. Other side, inhale, left arm rises high to the sky. Exhale, send it through, thread the needle. Other side. Coming down onto the left ear, option to kickstand the right toes. If it helps you roll deeper onto that left side. Holding no tension in the neck or traps. One more inhale. Open mouth, exhale. Reset that knee, pressing into the right hand. Inhale, lift the left hand high to the sky. Exhale, let it go. Hips shift side to side. And then come down on one side. We're rolling our feet in front of us, legs in front of us, rolling down onto our back. Last working posture before we find our resting pose is a reclined twist. So roll down nice and slow. Allow the knees to come with you, bringing them into the chest. And then arms come out to a T. Drop them over to one side. Gaze shifts to the other side, or looks on the same side if that feels better for your neck. Closing down our practice, dissolve and evolve. Let it go. One more inhale. Exhale, use the core. Bring your legs through center. And send them over to the other side. Gaze shifts to the opposite side. or safe side if that feels better. Allowing the breath to dissolve any tension that you have left. One more inhale. Exhale, pull your legs up through center. Clasp your hands around your legs, pull them nice and close to your heart. And then exhale, let them go long on your mat. Toes fall open, palms up to the sky. Shavasana. Roll the shoulder blades back and down, allowing the chest to open up. Scan from the tips of your toes all the way up to the crown of your head. Reset if any tension lives anywhere throughout the body. Deepening the breath, calming the mind. The beauty of this practice is that through the calming of the distractions, we find ourselves. All the asana, all the yoga leads to here, leads to home. One more breath, sealing this practice. And exhale, let it go. Begin to add some movement back into the body. Maybe gentle circles of the wrists, maybe the ankles. When you're ready, bend your knees, let them rock side to side. Maybe you're rocking so much onto one side that you can press yourself up to a seated position. Hands come to heart center, eyes are closed. Take one inhale just for you. Filling up with love, with adoration, with kindness for yourself. And exhale, let it live in the heart space. Seal it right there. It has been my true honor to guide you through tonight's practice. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening and week. Hope to see you again very soon. Namaste. Let us walk on in kindness and love, holding that light true to our heart. Thank you, everyone. I hope you had a wonderful practice. Slowing down sometimes isn't the most comfortable thing, but we do it together. It's nice and dark in here, so I have my little light. Feel free to add any comments, questions, feedback. I love to hear it all. And thank you again for joining in our space. Come and see us again next week. Same place, same time. Little different practice. Namaste. Thank you, thank you. Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much, Katie, Jackie, Kathy. Oh, what a wonderful way to end the week, spending it with you all. Hope to see you again very soon.